My name is C. Nalek Detwa, Director General, Center for National Documents and Record Agency, Republic of Liberia.
Yes, sir.
I came along with Mr. Cameron Soiree. Mr. Soiree is Director of Projects and Programs of National Archives. Over the last 6 months, we have been in discussion with Mr. Siaway and the African Union with respect to construction of National Library in Liberia. My understanding, Mr. Siaway informed the government of Liberia through the National Archive. The African Union has agreed and accepted to help Liberia and develop a 21st century National Library. Against this background, we understand that there is the conference of the 6th Region Diaspora Conference in Charleston, of which the African Union will be part of. And then we were invited to come and represent the interests of government of Liberia and the people of Liberia. And it is our hope that this meeting will logically include the arrangement between African Union in partnership with SRDC to achieve the dream of bringing 21st century standard library in Liberia.
Nice.
That is what we hope to achieve.
Yes, absolutely. That's great. Okay, so let me just say this before you go on. When you say archivist, you know, that's what I did for over 20 years at the College of Charleston. I just retired as archivist from the College of Charleston. So that part I didn't know, so this is very interesting. So I was brought into the library project because, number one, I had been a member of SRDC, the 6th Region Diaspora Caucus, but also because of my position and what I do as a librarian and archivist, what I have done and my knowledge of how that works, how to put it together. And so I was brought in specifically for that. So that's the lane that I'm in. So I'm happy to meet both of you gentlemen in that regard. And yes, we are looking forward to trying to work with you on this project. You, sir.
Just in addition to what he has said, the National Archives challenge in Liberia. And quite frankly, when this new administration took over, he was appointed as the Director General. But the challenges are so enormous that we believe this conference, our acquaintance with you people, will help bring some solutions to what we are looking out for. For instance, as Director of Programs, what we have observed, one basic thing is our records. Our records are dilapidated, and those records need to be preserved. We'll be looking up to people from this conference to assist us to scan those documents if they need be. When we have them scanned, they could be properly preserved. In addition to that, the National Archive of Liberia has no repository. We are presently using our offices to preserve, to keep documents, because we do not even have a laboratory before we talk about presentation. So we lack all of those basic necessities that can make archive a real archive.
So this is the National Archives. You're having these issues with the National Archives of Liberia, and those records are not currently documented. They're not digitized.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let me come in.
Yes.
The mandate, the statutory mandate of the Center for National Document Records / National Archives. One of the mandate is to preserve, is to develop library services to the country throughout the length and breadth. That's why he coming in the issue of archives, okay? Because it's within our statutory mandate. And then, as you may be aware, Liberia went through 14 years of devastating war. As the consequence of the 14-year war, the scar is the losing of all of the infrastructure we had prior to the war. We lose the library, we lose the boats, and we are challenged budgetary constraints, resources, manpower. So all of that is a huge challenge we face.
Yeah.
So currently, and I have a couple of points to that, but currently there's no, my understanding, I was in Liberia last October, my understanding there's no library science program. In other words, no program that where college students or anybody are being trained to how to do this work you're talking about.
That's why the capacity gap is.
Yes, so
Liberia has one major national public university, which is the University of Liberia. Even the private, the one that owned by Covington University, they do not offer library science. It's now that we had a discussion with the University of Liberia last year, hoping that we can begin to introduce library science at the University of Liberia.
Okay, so that is kind of where we come in a little bit, because of again my position, and I have spoken to some people. Mrs. Siaway was wanting me to come in and do some training, but we kind of had put that off a little bit, so because we needed to try to figure some things out. And I had gotten some of my former colleagues when I was working, that are interested in coming to Liberia to do some workshops and training and some various things. And we also got somebody from the University of South Carolina interested in possibly helping to work with your university there, or the colleges, or whichever one, in whichever location, to begin to help to pull together a program, a library science program. The literacy, talk to us about why literacy would be so important for Liberia at this time. What the war, the devastation the war had on education, and what that has created in the country.
I often say to people, in order to overcome the effect of the war, the first place we should start is education. Education is extremely cardinal. If we don't, it'll be difficult. You can build all the infrastructure, you can do all the other things.
That's a bedrock for national growth.
In the face of manpower, you have a problem.
And in addition to the library science that we were talking about, I continue to bring in the National Archive because we represent national government.
Yes.
And we are from the archive. A library, this library construction is a major component of the archives. But even the records that we manage there, there is a need to build a capacity in records management too. Yeah, Liberia lacks that. Liberia lacks that. So it is important that we inform this conference that we need a capacity building too in record management, because you can now run an archive with people that are not archivists.
That are not archivists. So I have a couple of points about that. I just wanted to make sure, Mr. Lincoln, Brother Lincoln, do you know these two gentlemen? Did you get a chance to meet them?
They look like they're from Jack Promise.
What he's saying is they look they look like you're from his community.
Go on, brother.
They're from the national.
Look like me.
This gentleman, this is Fred Lincoln. He's from this area. He's traveled to Liberia a few times, and he was with us last year. He's also traveled previously, bringing supplies and things like that as needed. He travels back and forth to Ghana. He's a part of the library project. He's a key component of that project. So we want him as we have these discussions. And what I want, so these gentlemen from the National Archives and of Liberia, and we're discussing the need for literacy, the library, and the things that they would hope that we can get out of this meeting, you know. So again, this is Brother Fred Lincoln, and he's a key component of our project as well. So he's somebody you definitely want to speak to and stay in touch with. Now let me just say this about what's going on with the National Archives and the records as they are now. You said they're sort of out in need. What do you need for that? Do you need scanners? Do you need people to do? Do you need people like from here to come in and help? Would that be acceptable to come in and help and train and help? I mean, is that something that the government would not?
I said it to you on Miss My World.
Yes.
We will be extremely, absolutely, very much grateful if we can get scanned up, if we have a person from here to come and provide the training for our people. You know, it's one thing to have the equipment. The second thing is the know-how to use. As I said, we need, the first place we should start from is
Okay.
to train our people.
Yeah.
They need that more. And we will ensure that as soon as we get back home, we'll keep in touch with you, and this will be a government arrangement.
See,
Not
this
just us.
This can be done.
Yeah.
See, scanners, Brother Lincoln, I'm not sure if you know, I mean, that's what I work with scanners all my
They really
in
don't
archives.
die.
They don't die, and they're not.
We don't
I
even-
mean, it's something we can get. We can get
We
scanners,
don't have one.
and not only can we get scanners, we can get people that can be, you know, with me and others that would come over. We can get graduate students. We can get people to come over and work with us on projects. We can develop projects and get that. We can do. That's
The
doable.
last scan that we ever used to do what we did, World Bank had some project for land authority. At that time, land authority the archive was handling the land issue, land registration, and documentation. So we separated land. Now we had a new agencies that control land authority, land management. Now we have a 3 scanner that was bought by World Bank, and it was taken away by land authority. So we don't even have one.
You have
See,
no
that's
scanner.
because that's how the grant went down. They didn't use miscellaneous line items.
Yeah.
They actually acquired something that the
Land authority.
would take it back. Miscellaneous line items the next time. Hey.
We've made that project that way, and when they were going, the
They
corridors.
left.
Yeah.
So that's something we need to talk about, because that is doable. Scanners. So we know we go over and we take books and we take school supplies to the little children, but we can actually develop a project to get some scanners. Now again,
Now, what are you attaching them to?
well, we have to attach them to laptops and computers.
And,
So-
and what do you have? That's the thing. What
Do you
kind of
have
hard
that?
drive
because
capacity?
they have to be connected, and then we can do
They
them.
carry all of the computers along.
So there,
Because
need
you
some
have, you
computers.
need a whole, you need
We need a whole
everything.
setup.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We need a whole setup.
We have a digital center that was set up, but they
Everything
removed-
left.
Everything left. The hall is open like here.
And so all of your documents are just sitting out.
They're sitting out.
Then
You will
Are
read
they?
those
Are they?
grant
Are they?
papers
Are they not?
differently.
So you need them digitized, but you need them cataloged and filed again as well.
That's
Was
a-
this-
that-
these
that's
were some
the-
things that happened during the Civil War.
That'd
That
be
all
the-
of that stuff was just.
It got scattered. Yeah.
And then they knew what they're going to be stored in.
And those things
And
need
that
to be
system
done faster,
maintained.
because
They're
if you look at the
deteriorating.
physical documents,
Yeah, I know
those
what happens
books,
to
they
documents.
are wedding away.
we got some. We
And
need
nothing
some
is
asset
done very
boxes.
fast.
So you need that. You need the acid-free boxes and
Yeah.
Yeah, to have
and the
them
archival
stored.
cases.
Yeah.
They are very challenging.
See, these are practical things. When you can literally answer the question.
Yeah.
Because scanners, right now you can think of 4 or 5 scanners that's sitting somewhere that
It's
are still
doable.
usable.
That's doable. That's a.
Because we're
doable
not
thing.
even talking about
Yeah.
a color scanner. We're
No.
talking about just some OCR and get it done.
Those are-
Yeah, this is doable. And again, this is you in my territory. And this is what I was.
We highly appreciate
I
it.
worked at the Avery Research Center for African American History and Culture, and we're a repository. What is the state and of the young people, and are they receptive? What will it take to
It's a difficult thing.
Yeah.
Most of the case, they are still traumatized from the war. And I said it to you strictly. It depends on the individual. There are some cases, they got the worst during the war, but they have overcome their making progress. Some are yet to overcome. And unfortunately, those who are willing to depart from the war era, you cannot even find a textbook for them to read.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you don't have smartphone, and they could Google and get the information, they cannot afford to buy the scrap car. Okay. So the challenge is so huge. Now, during the last campaign in Liberia, I was sent to my county for the first time, I stayed in my country for 2 months. I realized that those that really go through difficulty, there are people who live in the rural area. They had a challenge with roads, they had a challenge with electricity, they had a challenge with water. Now, I traveled one day, I saw kids, ages between 6 to 14 years. They walk about like, I don't know the city so I cannot, they walk like 3 hours to go to school. And they walk 3 hours to come home. And they live in the town. There's no water, there's no electricity. So we got a candle. We got one little candle, and about 6-7% had to start it on one candle. Okay, so when I got in the government, I said to myself, the little we can do is to provide textbook. So I went back. We opened a little library. Okay, take about 15%. And even the books before we came, I understand most of the textbook they require. Not even available. At least they got something. That is where you can easily smoothly drive from Monrovia to Gambia City. Okay. Now you can imagine what is happening in the southeast of the country, where the roads are not accessible. Now, after the war, after the 12 years administration of Mr. Shelley, there is still a major challenge in terms of funding for projects. I run the agencies of the government. The only funding in the budget is for compensation and not for programs.
Yeah.
Okay. We were trying to work along with Japanese government. They had a program. You call the program?
That's the Japanese grassroots security. NGO program.
Okay. So we're trying to see if we can reach out. You know, I always think the best way we can alleviate conflict if everyone knew what to do for yourself. Okay? And that means we must learn to provide the little education for the people. Because in the rural part of my country, okay, the kids see you ride a car, say, oh, that's a government official. The assumption, they sit in Monrovia, capital, they eat all the government money. That's why we in the rural area, we are poor.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, what are you true or not?
Yes.
That's the mentality.
That's exactly.
Okay.
Go ahead.
One thing I observed when I was over there, people under 30, like 75% of the society in most areas are young people. Because during the war, a lot of their parents and stuff were killed. And now I saw over there these young people like raising themselves, because they don't have any family to raise them. So that's going to be a serious challenge.
Yeah, that's
you were in Liberia. I hope whether you heard this word, there's a group of people they refer to as Zogos. Maybe you didn't hear.
They load cars on the road.
Okay. The Zogos, most of them are those who participated in the war. Okay.
Those are on the motorbikes?
No. At the roadside where the taxis are.
Yes.
They are there, dirty set of people. They don't take bath. They don't comb their hairs. If you play phone, they jack your things.
Okay.
Yeah, they have too many all around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Street people.
Okay.
So that's
we were told to avoid those areas.
Yes.
That's the effect of the war.
So this is a sensitive question, but this is a question that I have to ask, or just to get an opinion. And the American Liberian was the problem. So I guess that's how the war started. I kind of have a little information, but how does the Liberian feel now? Like if a group like us coming in trying to help, we're not trying to take over, obviously. I mean, we're trying to come in and help. We consider, our hearts and souls are in this. We have connections here in Charleston. Charleston Liberian connection, the Charleston African American connection, the Charleston Caribbean, the Liberian Caribbean connection is very, very strong, and we were over there for years. I was even told that one of my family members traveled to Liberia on one of those ships. I don't know what, but you know, many of our families did. They came from these areas. What would our reception be coming over, trying to be a part of this, trying to help build the library, trying to do this? Are there groups that still are very angry with the quote-unquote Americo-Liberian?
Let me speak to you.
Please, you kind of know what I'm trying to get to without really getting to it.
I will speak to you from the two fronts.
Okay.
Okay. I will speak from the personal front.
Okay.
And also from the general point. Let me deal with the personal issue.
Okay.
In Liberia, we have 16 tribes. I'm one of the tribes he won. We are two different tribes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm from Nimba County. And I belong to the Gyo tribe. Okay. The Gyo and the Crown went to war, right? And I married a Crown woman. Okay. Your question is how about the reception of American Liberia? I come into that. My tribe and my white tribe were at war. We cannot run to my people. We cannot run to her people. We cut in between. But importantly, William R. Turber, who was killed in 1980, brought me out. So again, I have a problem.
You said Tubman?
No, Talbert.
Talbert.
Yeah.
that's who was killed.
William R. Talbert.
Yes, Talbert. Yes.
Yeah, right.
By the okay.
Okay. And those who participated in the death of Talbert are also the Gyo and the Crown.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes, I do.
Right.
I
now,
do.
So in 1980, 1976, with the Talbot Iceman, then the major hotel, Ducal Intercontinental Hotel, to go and work. And that was 1976. 79, Avon Cosmetics had decided to open a factory in Liberia. Then he called me, son, I want you to go to Nigeria and go to school, and then come and be a manager for Avon factory. I don't care. That was 79. 1980, he was killed. You understand? Then the indigenous guy in the street, okay, native woman born soil, Congo woman born rural, right? But that was then. In the 80s, what was the consequence of that is the 14-year war. So today, no one in Liberia will sing the song that we sang in the 80s, right? I think where Liberia is, and every Liberian now, we have realized the state of the park cannot help us. We need to be receptive, and we are receptive. Okay.
In addition,
yes, thank you.
The issue about the Congo and the native, that is American Liberian and native, it has eroded by itself because, for instance, in this present government, we are not finding too many American Liberians. Those problems we are explaining, they still exist. So there is no native that is thinking that the American Liberians were the problems, because our problems in Liberia are ourselves. Until we can change the mentality, whether American Liberian or a native, a Liberian is going nowhere. So we cannot continue the divine rule except we work together. So Liberia is in dire need of development to the extent that nobody cares as to who is going to help in that development now.
Okay.
This is where we are.
Now,
If you listen to the president, the present president, he is looking for development from every angle. He is looking for it from every angle. He doesn't care where it comes from. You know, and this is the concept now we've grabbed, and we believe that for Liberia to be developed, all hands has to be on deck.
you know, you will understand why people felt the way they did in the past. Tomorrow, when we were to make comment, you hear my speech.
Yes.
Okay. Liberia, since 1847, every president that ruled Liberia has been American Liberia.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you look at the Iraq of President Tubman, right?
Tubman.
Who ruled Liberia for 27 years. He brought about open door development.
Right. Right.
He incorporated
He did.
the indigenous and the American Liberian.
He did. Yes.
I, as an indigenous person, I was son of William Alcaba. But the problem was the indigenous has their own problem. We have our own problem as well as the American Liberian. Take for Liberia issue. I will be seeing that tomorrow. The only public library to be open, it will open in Maryland. In Liberia, we have Maryland.
Right. Right. Yes.
Okay. There where President Tubman came from.
Right.
He is like
Maryland is about 200 and some more
kilometers from Monrovia. He opened a hometown. Okay. But you went through about 5, 6 counties to open a library. He did not open any in any of the county. Okay. And the second issue is the presidency. Okay. Now in Africa, in Liberia, when you say that president, you are law and God. Okay. So some indigenous felt that the problem was American Liberia. But little did we know that the problem is with every single Liberian. Patriotism was lacking. Yeah. Okay? Patriotism was lacking. Or is lacking. Okay? Now, there's some of us, when you get in public sector, the first thing you think about yourself.
Right.
You don't think about the country. So if you would think about your country first and put yourself last, no one will think that something is wrong. True.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Now,
Understood. Yes.
I live in the community. My house is not in the tent. I do not eat in the house. I got a big tree. I sit under the tree. I have 9 boys. I pay their school fee. I don't know them. My wife will say, "Hey, you can't go to church." And in the evening, Papa, I little boy won't go to school and no school fee. We take our last money and pay school fee.
Right. Right.
So when there's a problem, my doors are open. Nobody will match in my house. So when you live, they know that my next door neighbor made a cup of rice. You live for others, not for yourself.
Yes.
But when you decide to go in a public space and you do not relate to the people, it becomes the people enemies. Now, sure, with a crack, people burn your house down. That's the problem.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not about American Liberia per se.
Yes. Yes.
But it's just a concept. The
True.
mine is in the
True.
public sector.
True.
They got all the public money and diamonds and golds and resources. They enjoy.
Yeah.
We got nothing.
I understand.
We go after him.
I understand.
It could be the continent.
Or the American.
It could be American Liberia. It's our concept.
Whoever. Right.
Now, what is happening in Liberia now? If you look in the legislature, 99%, except for also people, right?
No less than 2%.
Also,
from the
couple of
American
management.
Liberian background.
So the entire legislature was about 2 or 3% are American Liberian. But we fight war every day in the legislature. Can we bring the American Liberian? No.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes, I understand your point.
So the issue is about mindset. I think we went to school together, we live in the same community, and today he's a representative or senator. Now he has a big car, the house is in the fan, his children no longer go to public school, he does not attend the public hospital, he go to America to go to the hospital, oh, whoa, the guy got you have money, I will kill him. Let's go. But when you go in the public space, when you go and you represent the people's interest, when you provide information to the people, then representative at the end of second quarter, you go into your constituent and speak to your people what you've done over the quarter. When you fail to do that, you provide for suspicion for mindset. So it's not an issue of American life.
Okay. You've answered that question wonderfully. That's very good. A perfect person that I want to bring in to do oral histories. We just have to try to raise the funds over here to get them in and spend, some time there to train. We can do the oral histories, but we want to train some of the young people there on how to actually do it, get the equipment that they need to do it, how to transcribe it, and how to kind of keep it in the records, because the stories need to be told. You have to have that. You have to have that
and just
story.
what you have said, that's why from last March, when he took over, we started developing a strategic plan. And in our strategic plan, there is a major component of oral history collection. That's so important. It has never happened before in the history of Liberia.
Okay.
And then,
especially if you have people who aren't writing.
Yes.
Or reading.
That's the other thing.
Those that are having the history are gradually passing.
And people have to express themselves too. So that's the other thing. The writing, we want the young people to begin to express themselves, do some writing, get them to poetry and writing and giving, awards and prizes. And, so these are some of the things that I vision that SRDC can kind of help with. And again, bringing in, that's my profession. That's what I'm coming out of. So that's,
when you look at the voices of.
The voices of.
It's the voices of.
We want to do that. So I have some people that, but what I need for SRDC to do is to help raise money so we can get them to travel over. And then I don't know, maybe, we need accommodation. They can stay on the campus. I don't know where people can stay and feel safe. I want to concern about the safety of the people. But you're saying don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
First thing we'll do,
probably we can develop some concept paper together.
Yes. Okay.
Concept paper and see how it works.
Okay.
Because I tell you, Liberia has history untold.
Okay.
And then
completely history untold. And just for the record,
if we are not careful,
it'll slip.
Those that have the history that we're talking about,
it'll slip.
Be gone.
And we need
because it disappears with migration.
And we need to get those stories. That's what the oral history. So it's not only it's the library, it's all. So the other thing I wanted to say too, I don't know if you're aware that he was only president for a few months, but he was president under Roy. He's from Charleston.
Yeah,
that's why we have to.
He's from Charleston, South Carolina, born right here on the peninsula, right down with his family. They traveled to Liberia in 1833.
Before coming here, I was trying to do the research on it.
Yes, I have that information.
I even went to the vice president of Liberia, trying to get all of the vice president.
She got it. She got you.
She got it.
I'm a researcher.
That's what the Avery Research Center is for.
That's who I am. Not a lot of people know this because as you know, I'm very low key. I kind of don't even like to be, but this is what I do. I spend a lot of time
digging up stuff.
I think.
So James Skivering Smith, I know now. He came out of. Was he in Bassa? He was with Grand Bassa.
Yeah, that's his home.
Grand Bassa.
And we have some Smiths there.
His family, his mother and father died of malaria shortly after. But so he was orphaned with his brothers and sisters. But I know he came back into. They brought him back. Some of the white folks said he was the American Colonization Society brought him back, and he became a doctor, a medical doctor, before he became a politician. So, but he was under Roy. You know, I don't know how Liberians felt about Roy, but you know, Roy was a Pan-Africanist coming from under Blyden. That was Blyden's good friend.
Yeah.
You know, and Blyden's words were that I've read was that Roy was murdered by some of the mulattoes in Liberia.
The thing was that when you dark complexions,
Yes.
His death has never been clear.
It's never been clear.
Yeah,
But Blyden, I've read it. Blyden says because they claimed that Roy was trying to abscond, but Roy was wealthy. He was already wealthy before he left here. He was a businessman. He knew how to make money. He was Blyden's good friend. So he was coming out of a different philosophy. Well, he was the True Whig Party. He came under that. He came out of a different philosophy than Jenkins and the rest of those guys, you know. But you know, Blyden says he was murdered on that boat. As they claimed he was trying to escape with the money. I don't know, but yeah.
Okay.
So anyway,
We're gonna find some sun
there's a lot of
because
information.
y'all could actually spend the whole week doing this.
I've done.
It was nice.
Just for the record, I'm low key, but but just so you know.
And I can imagine your visual artists are off the chain.
Well, we saw some of the work that's laid out. It was beautiful, yeah.
Because I'm wondering what comes out of the minds of children who have not had the opportunity to have been in a school setting. So therefore their art is natural, their speech is natural, their dance is natural, their song is natural, and their memories, their level of PTSD is something different. Right. How do you even provide therapy for that? How do you then get them to be whole citizens? I was watching something before I left today where you have folks who are coming out of a certain region. They're down in the rural section of Australia because they found that in the city it wasn't working. But when they brought them out there, and they had to wait till they'd been in Australia for about 4 or 5 years. So you're acclimated to the language and other things, but now we're gonna, and when they got out there and it's like, land. Because I can imagine, you know, one's got 7 kids, one's got 9 kids, and we see fresh air now. But how are you, you spoke of one set that we know to be, okay, disenfranchised and nobody can seem to touch them. How are you going to eventually reach them? Because that's sounding like Los Angeles homeless, a situation that is not getting smaller.
It's a difficult thing, the more challenging, because it had 2 factors. It had to do with the individual person.
That's fact.
It had to do with the willpower of a government. Okay. It's a societal problem. The government has the willpower to say, hey, these are citizens of Liberia. We had to open a whole camp. We got to reintegrate them.
Provide vocational training for them.
Vocational training for them. How to transform them to become useful for themselves.
And viable.
It's a societal problem. I remember right after the election 2017.
Is that Jesse?
Oh, snap. Pardon me. Come here, Jesse.
you?
Okay, you one of the few that could probably grease somebody proper.
Oh, come on now. I'm small fry. Small fry.
You been to Liberia yet?
I have not been to Liberia.
See, that's one country you ain't come.
Guinea a lot.
He goes to Guinea because he's a drug.
You go to Guinea?
He's a Liberian. He's a Liberian.
I'm drummer. I have to go there.
Are you a Guinean?
Yes, I am.
He'll find a way.
He's from here too.
He's from Charleston.
Yeah.
See, when you see people from here, you see.
Smith?
Thrower.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to work here.
Oh,
I
great.
did 42
But
years.
they're coming in from Liberia. They
Yes.
have, yes. You have not. This is your first time in the United
My
States.
first time.
You too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's a heck of a place to start.
Yes.
Yes.
You can't get any deeper than starting in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yes, that's
The
true.
King Topher IX from the Republic of Benin was here last week.
Yeah.
Okay, the rest of them are looking at, yes, the year of the return, but you got to come here first and then work your way back and then come back again.
And you saw when Brother Lincoln said, "Oh, they look like they came from my place down there." We need to connect these dots. And
Let me ask you something.
yes.
You don't mind if you can make a short visit to Liberia. So that most of the things that we discuss here today.
See, a short visit to
a
Liberia.
very short visit.
No, I'll make a visit to Liberia. That's no
Yeah.
problem.
Women that made a very good sound decisions that came into do a very good policy. They came really right.
That's right.
They never went to school.
That's right. But they have they're griots. They have stories.
They have stories.
So
They have stories.
Their story,
Important
their
stories.
story can help government to make a better decision tomorrow.
Great point.
Their children will be proud to hear that this was your money your daddy did. Their struggle,
those
their
stories need to be
contribution
documented.
cannot go unnoticed. So it's important for
Yeah, it's
oral
very
history.
important. Oral histories. There was a time here in this country, and I'll say this when we go inside, because I know we can probably get started. But there was a time here, we've always loved oral histories, but there was a time when oral histories in the university wasn't respected. It wasn't felt that you didn't, so oral histories, you could go out and not have a degree, a major college degree, and be a wonderful oral historian. And they didn't feel that it was, what was the term that's used? They didn't feel that it was, that it was, they felt that it was just somebody's memory and not necessarily a factual. But we don't agree with that, because there's always some kernel of truth into the stories. But now, here in the United States, you have to have a degree here
Isn't that a shame?
in order to be an oral historian. But there was a time when the university didn't even respect it. But
And see, and you have to excuse me, I have to cut you there, because half the folks you're going to come across that are going to be trained, they're going to be like folks like me, who don't have a degree, but who understand that stories have to be told and everything has to be documented. And that is the person who will be objective enough to listen to everything.
now I have the degree, but I
She got the
understand that the story. I understand the story and the story. So oral history project, that was one of the things that I had. So we can go inside.
We hope to work
So
with
we're
you.
off to a good start.